In this episode, we're speaking to Amber Sabri. Amber Sabri is a creative consultant and the founder of Azhar PR, a public relations and a digital marketing agency where she's dedicated to working with uplifting female founders and minority-owned businesses. And she is an amazing, amazing young entrepreneur. So let's find out how she changed her life by changing her mindset. Let's find out. And remember, if you want to upgrade your money mindset, then click on the link www.millionairefoundations.com and watch my free training. Welcome. This is Gull, your money mindset expert. And today I'm so excited. I'm speaking to the beautiful Amber Sabri. Welcome, Amber.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us, Amber. Amber, everyone's heard your intro, they've seen and they've heard how wonderful you are. But please, in your own words, tell everybody what it is that you do.
Sure. So I am a female founder. I have my own PR agency where I work with female founders, minority-owned brands, and just small businesses to kind of even out the playing field. In the PR space, you see so many brands over and over again in the same articles. So my goal is to kind of spread the word, tell them about all these incredible brands, help them get out there, make some great connections, put on some cool events, create some great content, and just help them out.
Awesome. Fantastic. So Amber, talk us through your journey. Where did you start off thinking you're going to have a PR agency? It doesn't really seem logical, does it? So talk us through how did you end up owning a PR agency?
It kind of accidentally happened. I always knew I was going to work in PR. So I went through college, did the whole internships, got the whole job. In the end, I was always like, okay, like 10, 15 years after I get into the corporate world, I'll probably start an agency. You may work your way to the top. What else are you going to do? I'll just start my own. This happened probably like 10-ish years earlier than anticipated. I was working a full-time job at a really great PR agency. The clients were great, but I was just wanted something a little bit more creative and a little bit more active. And my clients, already big names, really were just reactive to what everything was happening. So I wanted to get back into that creativity, the reason why I got into PR. So I had the luxury of being able to quit my job in the pandemic. I lived at home and I was like, let me just figure it out. Let me find the right agency with the right client, something that I know I'll love. And I ended up just started freelancing in between a brand that I had followed for years, Holy Chic by Mega, coincidentally posted literally the next day after I thought, hey, maybe I could freelance, looking for PR help. And I was like, okay, I know the basics of PR. I've worked in it for a year. I've had how many, 4 or 5 internships. I understand how it works. I can do the basics for them. And working with them, it just kind of spiraled from there. I had like 3 to 4 clients, I think. This was like February 2021. We started working together and things just continue to grow. It's just a snowball effect. I built a really great network of people through Holy Chic and my other clients. And then they ended up being at New York Fashion Week, where I met so many other people, opened my door to so many other things. And I just kind of felt dumb continuing to look for a full-time job when things were going so well. And at the time I was 23, turning 24. And I was like, you know what? Let's give it a chance. If all else fails, I go back to the corporate world. And here we are, about a year and a half. I think so. I'm doing my math correctly. A year, 9 months later, and we're still working.
Awesome. So this is why I asked, because you are awfully young to be a founder, and that's probably a comment that you get often, that my God, you're so young. This is the age when people stay in corporate jobs and get experience before they delve into the world of being an entrepreneur, because it's a really crazy ride. So what has your experience been as a young entrepreneur, as a young CEO?
I've definitely experienced tons and tons of imposter syndrome, which, I mean, it comes with the territory. I started off doing this when I was about 23 years old. I'm coming up to 26 years old. And even now, I'm still kind of needed to remind myself, hey, you've been doing this for at least 4 years now. I graduated college 4 years ago, continue to work in PR all of this time. So I do have 4 years of experience, but a lot of times I go back to being 23 years old and I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I've been able to connect with some really cool entrepreneurs who either have like social media agencies or other PR agencies that are around my age. I have one, I guess, sort of mentor. I would call her a mentor, who's in her early 30s, and she has probably been the biggest help in helping my mindset and kind of boost my confidence and just kind of give me a little bit direction of when sometimes I'm winging it. And she's like, well, hey, I did it this way and I didn't know what I was doing and it worked out. Why don't you give it a try? So I've been able to connect with people, which I think is what has helped me so much in going through this at such a young age.
I'm glad you mentioned the imposter syndrome. So let me reassure you, it doesn't matter what age you jump into the entrepreneurial world, the imposter syndrome comes to bite your backside at any age, regardless. And sometimes it's the age factor, sometimes it's the, who the hell do you think you are? And sometimes it's because you think, oh my God, I have so many responsibilities. Can I do this? What if they think everyone, because normally people who jump into the entrepreneurial world, they're ambitious, they're perceived to be successful. What people realize, I don't know how I'm going to get today. Sometimes just good taking a day at a time. You really are, as an entrepreneur, at times taking a day at a time, because you can't see the wood from the trees and you cannot see the path apart from the day after. So this is normal. That's normal. But I'm glad you expressed it, because I think you've got that age associated with it as well, which is it can have an additional factor. How do your peers perceive you, like people your age? What did they say? And this is quite important from a mindset perspective. How supportive or not were your friends and your family and your peers, and how did you go about it?
So I didn't anticipate having this conversation. And I think from starting freelancing in February to ultimately coming to the decision in October, those 8 months, I was never 100% sure I was going to pursue this. And in the back of my mind, I was like, well, what if I do? And I kind of made out a plan of, I need to make X amount each month to the same amount I was making at my job. If I make more, great, I'm set up for more. I have this, I need to have this in order. I have this business operations, and just kind of come up sort of with a business plan. It wasn't super shelled out, but I had sort of the ideas and the business operations in mind. So when I had that conversation ultimately with my mom and my brother, I was like, look, I'm making at this point double than what I was making each month at my corporate job. I'm making a lot of more great connections. I'm having these great conversations. I have so many more leads. If those leads don't come to anything, I'm open to maybe getting a part-time job to supplement it. So there's a little bit of stability, but it feels at this moment a little, for lack of better words, dumb to not pursue this. So I think if anyone was in a similar position where they're like, I kind of want to do this, but I don't know how to bring up this conversation, have somewhat of a plan in order.
Right.
What you need.
I think plans essential. You seem to be someone who had a head on her shoulders. You were pursuing it, and it was a natural progression for you to move forward in that direction. So if someone's thinking about it, they need to have I think they need to have a plan. If they're in a job, they need to have an exit plan. And if they want to start a business and they're working in something else, or whatever for the business, you need to have a plan. And if you're in a job, you need to have an exit plan, because you need to be financially stable. I think that's very, very important. Entrepreneurship is so difficult. Add to it the financial hurdles on top, and you are literally asking for literally a disaster. So you need to be financially comfortable. I don't say you have to be wealthy, but you have to be comfortable with your means to be able to pursue this and be able to take the ups and downs with your entrepreneurial endeavors. So I think that's very important. What's the biggest change that you've seen in yourself coming from, when you did internships and when you were doing freelance to now actually having established agency?
I'm not really sure, because a lot of times I think it comes with the imposter syndrome, where I talk myself down a little, where if people are like, oh my God, this is incredible, I'm like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Like, oh, I'm not a hard worker. And they're like, hey, Amber, you've built up this whole business. I think I'm a little bit more networking. I'm doing that more. I'm more open to conversations. Before I was like, okay, this is my job. I finished my job. I don't really need to make friends at this job. But now I kind of understand the point of networking. I never really understood it as an intern. Probably should have networked and made relationships with the other interns and other people at the jobs. But now I understand having that community makes such a larger difference in your journey, whether you are just someone working in corporate world or if you actually are an entrepreneur. Actually talking to people and building relationships is a big deal. And I think that has been my biggest change of like, I'm being more active in making those relationships.
Wonderful, wonderful. So if we wrap this up, what advice would you give to someone who's starting out and they are tossing, there are so many different options to go through. They're looking at going to universities and with all those loans, or they're going to or they start starting on the business, or going through what we have apprenticeships here in UK. What advice would you give to a young individual who has all these options, giving your background and what you've achieved so in such an early age?
I still have that mentality of have a safety option in the back of my mind. If this agency fails, I have my degree, I have experience, so I can get that corporate job. So I always encourage people, if the job and the degree are worth it, get the degree. It's always good to have that backup plan. But if you really do want to pursue that job, or if you want to pursue something else, figure out exactly what your goals are. Maybe it's writing it down, have a clear vision in mind of what you would like to do, figure out those steps. I'm very much like a type A planner, the steps I need to get to there and work up the ladder from there. I think if you have that rough idea, launch now, whatever that plan is, whether it's the apprenticeship or it's launching the business, you can always perfect your journey later because there's only so much you can predict. The way that I started this agency 2 years ago is nowhere near how I'm operating it now because I knew things then and I have since figured out what works and what doesn't work. So if you kind of have that rough idea of what you're looking for, what your goals are, what you want to do, and you're ready to pivot and adjust as things come at you, you're set, whatever your path is.
Awesome. Okay, fantastic. So tell us, Amber, how can we connect with you? Where can you find you on the internet?
Well, you can find me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all of the social medias. It's Miss Amber Sabri. If you are interested in my PR agency, I am Azhar Public Relations on Instagram, AZHAR, and my website, Azhar PR.
Wonderful. So if you are listening to us on the podcast, the links that was just mentioned will be in the show notes. And if you're watching on YouTube, then down below in the description section, we'll have the links to her, all the links that Amber just mentioned to. Go check her out and see how she can help you with your help PR and agency can help you with build your business. Thank you so much for coming on today, Amber. We'll come back. We'll welcome you back for Money Talkies. But today, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for listening to me and Amber today. I will be back with another amazing guest on Friday Future, finding out how they've changed their life by changing their mindset. Until the next time we meet, this is Gull signing off. Take care and bye for now.